Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Nelson. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican. At the Pope's general audience this past week, Pope Francis concluded the series of audience talks about the Creed, which were started by retired Pope Benedict XVI during the Year of Faith. Rome Reports has more from St. Peter's Square.
Pope Francis talked about the final judgment during Wednesday's general audience as he continued his series on the Creed.
Mi soffermo sul giudizio finale. Ma non avere paura,
He explained that people should not fear the final judgment, but look at it with hope because it'll be an encounter with Jesus. The key, he added, is having their heart open to God.
Ma se noi ci chiudiamo noi stessi all'amore di Gesù, siamo noi stessi che ci condanniamo. Siamo condannati dai noi stessi. La salvezza è aprirsi a Gesù e Lui ci salva. E se siamo peccatori, tutti ne siamo, tutti. E chiediamo perdono e andiamo con la voglia di essere buoni. Il Signore ci perdona, ma per questo dobbiamo aprirci all'amore di Gesù, che è più forte di tutte le altre cose. L'amore di Gesù è grande.
Christians will not be alone during the final judgment. Jesus will be on their side as their defense lawyer. With over 15,000 pilgrims at St. Peter's Square, Pope Francis had plenty of interaction with them. At one point, he exchanged this papal hat with another a pilgrim gave him, but he first made sure that it fit him.
Looking now at news from around the country, as we reported earlier this week, a wave of prayer to eradicate worldwide hunger crossed the globe on Tuesday, December 10th. At noontime in Washington, D.C., participants held an interfaith prayer service asking God for guidance to better see and understand the needs of people living in poverty. Nearly 50 people were joined by 3 members of Congress in a first-floor meeting room in the Capitol's House wing to recite a prayer developed by Caritas Internationalis, who had created and organized the initiative. Across town at the Catholic University of America, Cardinal Donald Wuerl of Washington led students in prayer at Caldwell Chapel, asking God for assistance in sharing food with all members in the global family. And the Caritas Internationalis One Human Family, One Food for All campaign is aimed at prayer and action to relieve hunger around the world through May of 2015. In news from around the world, the Prime Minister of India, Manmohan Singh, has apologized to church leaders for the actions of the police who beat and sprayed protesters with muddy water, including priests and nuns. It happened during a march to Parliament advocating for rights for low-caste Christians. The apology came after a 10-member delegation led by Delhi Archbishop Anil Kapoor called on the Prime Minister to end discrimination against Christian Dalits, or members of the low castes. The Indian government has established a quota system in education and government jobs as a type of affirmative action for Hindu, Sikh, and Buddhist Dalits, but not for Christian Dalits, who account for 2/3 of 27 million Christians in India. More news now from around the country. Pope Francis has been named Time Magazine's Person of the Year. Catholic News Service has more on the Pontiff's latest honor and the Vatican's reaction to the news.
Pope Francis is the 3rd pope in history to have been chosen by Time Magazine as Person of the Year. Blessed John Paul II won the honor in 1994, and Blessed John XXIII in 1962. Time chose Pope Francis this year, it said, because rarely has a new player on the world stage captured so much attention so quickly from the young, the old, the cynical, and the faithful. It said the Pope, with his focus on compassion, has become the new voice of conscience. Meanwhile, Father Lombardi, the Vatican spokesman, said it's a positive sign that such a prestigious recognition has gone to a person who proclaims spiritual, religious, and moral values to the world and speaks effectively in favor of peace and greater justice. The choice of Pope Francis, the spokesman said, is not surprising in light of his wide appeal and the enormous attention he has attracted. The spokesman said the Pope isn't seeking fame or accolades, but being named Person of the Year will make him happy if it helps attract people to the hope of the gospel. Father Lombardi added that the Pope would also be pleased if the magazine's decision means that many have understood this message of hope.
And finally in the news, Boston Cardinal Seán O'Malley will speak during a celebration marking the 50th anniversary of Cardinal Richard Cushing's historic visit to the Sudbury United Methodist Church. The ecumenical service of worship will be held on January 12, 2014 at the Sudbury United Methodist Church in Massachusetts. The Episcopal leader of United Methodists in New England will share in leading the service. Cardinal Cushing's visit on January 19, 1964 was one of the first ecumenical visits made by the Archdiocese leader during Vatican II. Well, that is all the information we have for you at this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV network.